I've tried to film this video 3 times. I'm very pissed off. Third time's a charm. Okay, I'm Bob Saget, and now before we get started into the video, this is on a serious note. We as a community of 23 people now, that's including me, have reached 20 subscribers! Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Now, I don't want to brag, but it's 22 now. So, you know, I'm really reaching them top ranks right now. Yeah, no need to brag. I don't want to put it in your guys' faces. I'm basically Beyonce now. So on my last video, someone commented asking me to show you guys my portfolio that I used in my admissions to get into the Willing to Coding Academy. Now, I never actually thought about sharing it, but then I realized that when I myself was trying to apply and figure out how to build a portfolio, there weren't that many graphic design portfolios out there, and the ones that were, they didn't really help me out. So, you know, why not help the people that are really stressing right now, just to show them that even with my somewhat shitty portfolio, I was able to get in somewhere. Not only did I apply to WdKA, but I also applied to Napa in Milan, Italy. I had to create 2 different portfolios because, you know, each school has their individual requirements. Not everyone has the same ones. But today I am going to be focusing on the WdKA portfolio because that is where I'm currently studying. Ooh. Now for the admission, I had to send in 10 to 15 projects, 2 or 1 sketchbooks of my own, and you also have to do a home assignment or 2. Now 2 home assignments you will have to do if you're doing a remote application, so if you're not going to be there at the academy, but you only have to do 1 if you are actually going to be at the academy. So I was not at the academy, so in my case I had to do 2 home assignments. Today we are only going to touch upon the portfolio and the sketchbooks, not the home assignments, because there are quite a lot of videos on YouTube and everywhere else about the home assignments. So, you know, no need for me to iterate what other people have already said. The cover of the PDF document doesn't have to be much. At least I realized that last minute I needed a cover, so I quickly scrambled up something, and it wasn't even something. It's literally just a background and some text. I personally did not have that many projects that I could include into my portfolio, so I sort of had to go back into my past, like a few years back when I was, I don't know, in art school or any type of thing that I did ever for a friend, and just figure out a way to turn it into a project and put it into my portfolio. I started the portfolio with a logo that I created for a charity organization. I did share the process and the initial ideas, even though I really didn't want to look back at them. Like, I hate them so much. It's just disgusting. Please do not judge me for that work. If you want to judge me for my work, judge me for the latest stuff that I created at my current design profile. Throughout every page and process that I showed in my portfolio, I added a sentence at the bottom of each page, just sort of trying to explain what is going on. I made sure to show my process because I know that's what people like to see. At the end of every project, I showed the final piece just to show what all my initial ideas and thoughts led up to. I then went on to show some artist research that I did. Here I made pieces combining the styles of 2 different artists, those being Keith Haring and Gustav Skoltzis. The next project was a logo I created for a movie review account on Instagram. I also included a YouTube banner I created for this person just to show that I haven't only been doing logos. We then go from digital back to drawings. This was the artist research of Keith Haring. I was showing how I experimented with his art style and how I used his style to create a new piece. Next, I showed how I experimented with the style of the artist Gustav Skoltzis. I showed how I did the pieces both digitally and physically, just to show that I can do both. I also included sketches in some of these to show that I don't just start doing things without any thought, but that I have multiple ideas. We then go on to another logo for another movie review account. You can say that that's sort of my specialty, even though there's only been 2. I showed the sketches that I created for all the options and all the thoughts that I had on multiple different pages. I then showed the final logo that the client chose, as well as I added an updated version just to show that I can update a logo and I can stay modern. The next thing I included was a whole project that I had with a classmate of mine. He wanted to create an application, so I helped him out with the logo as well as the interface design. This was actually pretty fun for me because this is where I discovered that I really like creating user interfaces. I added all the sketches and ideas that I had for the logo, as well as all the pages I created for the interface design. This was pretty important for me because most of the digital work I had added to my portfolio earlier was just logos. So, you know, adding diversity to your portfolio is quite interesting. You don't just want to show the admissions officer a bunch of different logos that you've created. No, you want to show diversity, and then you can do more than just create a little icon. During high school, I was in a group that helped raise and donate money as well as clothes to a refugee center in Latvia. So I created posters for the group when we were going to a fair. You might be asking, why popcorn for the people? Well, we were selling popcorn to raise money. For it, I showed why I used the colors that I did and the pieces that I used for inspiration. The next project that I included was a piece that I did for my art school graduation. The project's name was Dora, and I did it in the style of the artist Niklaus Stronke. I did research on him, played around with his style, and then showcased the final result. My final piece did have text messages that were in Latvian, so I made sure to include an English translation because nobody really knows Latvian. If you're including a different language into your portfolio that isn't Dutch or English in this case, you should probably include a translation because not many people might know your language.
Hi, future me. I was looking back on my portfolio and I completely forgot that I left out a whole nother project that I added into my portfolio, and I think it's important to show this. But I'll just quickly run through it. So in my head, I was like, you know what, it'd be pretty cool if I added in me experimenting by making a typeface. So I made a typeface and I named it Taped. And then I just showed my whole design process through my portfolio for every single letter. And I created like options for the letters, how they can look like, so. And then in the end I added an alphabet just to show the final versions of every single letter. I didn't digitalize these, I just made it a whole experiment just to show I can experiment with even typefaces.
So that's pretty much it for my portfolio. There are things that I want to touch upon that I did throughout the whole portfolio presentation stage. You probably noticed the different colored borders on the pages. I used those to show what pages are for what project. I wanted to make sure that if anything got scrambled in the process of me doing something stupid or somehow something got scrambled on the way, you'd always be able to tell what goes with what. Another thing I did was add a small descriptive sentence. I did mention this earlier, but I didn't mention more about it. Don't add a paragraph because the admissions people do not have that much time to read everything you have to say about it. Just include the most important details because they have so many people's work to look over. You know, just as long as you're giving them what's going on, just so they don't get lost, it's okay. And the last thing that I want to touch upon is that I didn't put all the logos with the logos and all the paintings with the painting. I wanted to mix it up just so it isn't that boring to look at.
Hi, this is future me. I am gonna tell you right now about the other stuff that I submitted in for my admissions because part of the footage is missing. So I'm just gonna make past me jump in whenever it lines up with the storyline. Just FYI, I had written down everything that I was gonna say, so you know, I know what's missing and it's not like you guys are getting anything less. I've showed you my portfolio and we can now get on to the sketchbooks. I sent in a total of 2, but to be transparent, I was not the person that kept sketchbooks and used them a lot. So I sat down and created them for my application. The first one was a notebook of sorts that I just sat down and created many designs, nights on end, just to fill up the pages and show that I have some creativity. I will just skip through all the pieces that I had in this book because there is no thought behind them and why I drew what I drew. So just slow down the video if you want to see everything precisely.
Now the second sketchbook contains all the little doodles I found throughout all of my school notebooks. I sort of cut them all out and created collages in the sketchbook. The other stuff that I added in the second sketchbook was all the still life art that I created in the art courses that I took. I did that because I wanted to show the admissions office that I had some skill, like if you placed a cube in front of me and gave me a pencil, I could draw it with shadows and all. I also added a few paintings that I'm not particularly proud of, but I just wanted to show them that I have painted. The rest is just other random pieces that I had created in my spare time. I do hope that this video helped someone that is going through all the madness that is admissions and creating your portfolio. Let me know if there's anything else that I can help you with through admissions, or maybe if you want to find out more about being a graphic design student at the Willem the Coding Academy, or just anything in general, really. If you want to see me make a video, tell me what I should do because I have no ideas. As I mentioned before, if you want to see what I do as a graphic designer, go check out my Instagram account. That is my design account, but I also have a personal Instagram account, so go and follow that as well. And please subscribe as well as like, and make sure to comment any ideas that you have, or you know, just nice comments in general about how beautiful my hair is. Maybe you like this picture painting of Venice in the background. Anyways, this is Bob Saget. Thanks for checking in. I'll catch you dudes next time.